Testing. 1, 2, 3. What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Crazee tonight?
In the House of Crazee tonight, we are going to devote an entire show to a topic, a Get Your Meds topic about the long-term effects of critics and creatives. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking about that next.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your meds, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, the Crazy Man Vero, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. It is Tuesday, July 11th. What up, Lupons? It is July 11th. It's 8 p.m. here in the East Coast. Sammy's 7 p.m., I believe, in the Midwest. And we are chilling. We are going to be talking tonight with you guys for about 45 minutes on just a topic. We're going to be talking shop tonight. No guests tonight. It's just Sammy, myself, and the rest of you out there in chat land. So if you're in the chat, please say what up. If you haven't done so yet and you're in the chat, subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, comment, do all that fun stuff. Hit the bell so you know when we go live. Usually go live on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. That's when we go live. Yo, what up, Gil? And everybody's in the house. I love it. Thank you guys.
Everybody. Yeah, man.
But yeah, my brother, we're gonna be chilling tonight. We're gonna be talking. We're gonna give you guys a little breakdown on what we've been up to and what's coming up, where you can, see us, catch up with us, and then we're gonna jump right into it. Sammy, so what's going on with you, dog?
Get down on it. Oh man, what's been going on? I've been busy. Yeah. So Kickstarters are going out this week. So I sent all the digital versions out. So if you check your inbox, check your junk mail, your spam folder, digital rewards already went out, and physical rewards are going out this week. So almost done packing, and so they should be out in the post office hands and by Friday the latest, but as early as tomorrow. So so look in your mailbox for that. And the landing page for book number 6 is live. So check it out. If you haven't signed up for book number 6 of There's an Alien in My Toilet, go and check it out. Link is in the chat. And so that's exciting. So that's done. And let's see what else is going on. I got the book tour coming up. So in a couple of weeks, I'll be at the Denton Art Exposition at the Denton Civic Center on the 5th. And then right after that, I'll be at Collected Comics and Games of a book signing, in-store book signing. And then in September, I'll be at the College Station Comic Con, in October at Arlington Comic Fest. So that's pretty dope. What's up, ASAP Imagination?
All right.
So that's going on there. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, and then there's the art contest. But instead of me rambling about the art contest, let me just play it for you. Hey, are you an artist? Do you think you could draw Duty? Prove it. If you think you could draw Duty, prove it. I'm hosting a contest up to August 1st. That's the deadline to submit your submission of Duty. The caveat, it is Duty and one of the characters from the series in a dramatic comedic scene. Draw that, submit it in any form except for AI. You can't use AI. Any form except for AI, submitted by the 1st with a chance to win $100 plus 4 free ads on Catch the Craze podcast, plus an uninterrupted 1-hour interview with you on your career path. Plus, you get featured in issue number 6 of There's an Alien on My Toilet with your mugshot and the art and a bio about you. Plus, on dutiesworld.com, the same bio and information about you with links directing traffic to you. Oh man, I'm giving the world away just to prove that you can draw Duty. You said you can. A lot of people have tried, really haven't captured the essence of Duty. Are you going to be the one to capture it? Are you going to be the one? So go to dutiesworld.com today, hit that link, read the description, follow it to the letter, send the email of your submission to contact@catchthecraze.com for a chance to win some major prizes. Brooklyn style.
Yeah, the diet though.
I never heard Duty.
But man, you are mad aggressive. You think you could draw? Prove it.
Yo, that's straight up. That's straight up New York, baby. Yo,
easy. Okay,
you think you can do it?
Jesus Christ. I'm like, why you gotta be so aggressive? All the time.
That's the only way I know how, baby.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Prove it. Draw Duty.
I'm a product of my environment.
Oh man. Woo. All right. Well, listen, that sounds dope, man. That sounds good. So yeah. August 1st is the deadline. Make sure you send everything in, read those directions. Otherwise, Sammy's coming at you. I've seen George 3 nights in a row. Yo, JD, what up, dog?
Get an order of protection.
I've been busy. That's true. I was on JD's show on Sunday. Then I was on with the guys over at Bit and Apple TV. Big shout out to Written Ralph over there. We were there last night, and now we're here today. Yeah, man, JD, I'm everywhere, brother. Hey, listen, man. Like I said on Sunday, my condolences. I know you're going through some stuff right now, but keep your head up. My dog, he had to cancel his Kickstarter because he had some stuff going on.
Yeah, man. So
JD, yeah, man. My thoughts go out to you and your fam, dog. So, yeah, dude. I mean, it's been quite a few days. But what else you got? You got. No,
that's it. But the contest,
Kid in the Comic.
A Kid in the Comic, volume number 2. I mean, the second issue is on its way.
That's right.
I think it's just been printed, so it's starting to get distributed and shipped out. So that's pretty exciting. I'm really excited about A Kid in the Comic, and there's a lot of momentum and a lot of big news coming from that whole thing. So check that out. Check that out pretty soon. But as far as the art contest, in order for the art contest to be live, I need at least 3 more submissions. So we've got 2. We've had 2 from one person and then 1 from another. So what's up? And in order for it to be live and to for anybody to win, I need a minimum of 5 entries. So, and the deadline is August 1st. But you also have a book signing coming up, don't you?
I do, my friend. I do. It is going to be going down on July 19th. Over in Queens, man, your old neck of the woods.
My old
collectible over in at 9601 Metropolitan Avenue. Make sure you head out there. I'm going to be there from 3 to 6. We're going to be signing books for Designated. I was the letterer on the book. We're going to be doing that with Mr. Mark Torres. Mark Torres and the crew will be there. Whoa. Here we get strobe lights.
Yeah, man.
We're going to be doing that on Wednesday, July 19th. It's comic book day. That's next week. So make sure you head out there if you're in Queens. Check us out. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be really fun. Good times.
Yeah, and you also got this going on.
And then I also have Russ 5377. Issue number 1 is right now available in digital form at anyoneworld.com. There is a link on my website. So if you go to getyourmeds.com, go to the shop and look for the digital copy of the book. It's only $1.99, and I want to thank everyone who already picked up a copy. Thank you so very much. The next issue is coming out at the end of this month, July 24th, I believe, is when we will be releasing that one. So issue number 2 is coming. Issue 1 is live right now. Make sure you pick up a copy of that. Big shout out to Mr. Paul Hades from ASAP Imagination. Big shout out to him. I'm actually going to be writing 3 issues of his comic Dead of Night. I sent in the issue number 2 script already. It's with the editor, and then we're going to be starting work on that right away. Exciting news for Mr. Hades. He was over in London. He was at the London Comic Con.
London Bridge is falling down.
He met Simon Williams. Yeah, they became buddies. Real good friends. Well, they took pictures together. They got videos. They joking around. And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to spoil anything, but he enjoyed the book Dead of Night, and he's looking forward to when we put it together as a graphic novel, because it'll be more news once that happens. I'm not going to spoil it for him. But
Awesome.
but yeah, dude, it's yeah, I've been busy, man. I've been busy lettering, writing my own stuff. I'm writing a new comic for myself. I'm doing the edits right now. So yeah, dude, and and then I'll have more news later on this month about stuff that's coming up in the fall. So
awesome.
Oh yeah, Terrificon, dude. Terrificon's happening at
terrific.
July 28th through the 30th. I'm gonna be at Terrificon, just walking the floor with my boys, with Anibal Arroyo, who's in the chat, and Jonathan Syfax. We're gonna be out there just chilling, hanging out.
Chilling like a villain.
If you're in Connecticut, Mohegan Sun, check out Terrificon. We're gonna be out there just hanging out.
Word, yeah. I'm not doing any shows that I have to travel other than Alien Con, which is in San Francisco next year.
When is that? That is next year, you said?
Yes, next year. I think it's March. Alien Con, and it's run by A&E Network, and it's a big event, and it's all of the big lecturers that talked about UFO conspiracy, all those UFO documentaries, all those producers and writers and narrators. They're all going to be there. So I'm going to have a booth with Duty, and we're going to go all in.
Nice.
It's going to be fun. That's the only one I'm going to do. I was going to drive until I realized it was, I think it was like 19 hours. Like, oh, forget it. I'm going to fly.
Do they have other like comics there? Like, is it, or you just kind of?
There's a lot. No, there's a whole artist arena section. Yeah. And they have, but the people sell like novelties and alien stuff and all that stuff, whatever. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to have a nice, I'm probably going to have, either the blow up version or the cardboard version of Duty to stand up, so kids can take pictures with it. I'll have the UFO hovering over my table, so I'm really gonna go crazy with that one.
Is it like a family event?
It's everybody. I mean, anybody who's into extraterrestrials and conspiracy theories, all that stuff, they all go there. It brings in thousands and thousands of people.
Cool, man. He's called my friend Simon. Absolute gentleman. Yeah, man. He seemed like a cool dude, man. But yeah, dude. I mean, convention season, man. It's big time right now. Like, there are a lot. Like just last weekend here in New York, there were like 3 or 4 at the same time. Like between the street fairs and the conventions, it's definitely convention season for sure.
I'm not doing any of the fan expos next year. They jacked up the prices in Artist Alley, and it doesn't justify doing it. They only give you a 6-foot table, barely any space. They don't promote you. They don't put your name on the website. They wait last minute. To send you your information like 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before. There's no respect for the artist, and they added in Texas. The Artist Alley table last year was $350. Now it's $500 and change, whatever. I was like, yo, it's like a markup of almost 40%. I'm like, get out of here, bro. Damn. So Fan Expo and me, we're done. I'm gonna go to the other shows around it.
Yeah, no, I hear that, dog.
Yeah.
They do. They get expensive, man. They get expensive.
Because they got to pay for the celebrities. That's why. So they're jacking up. They're taking it from the little guy. So I'm like,
yeah, because you figure they got to get these people in. They got to put them in hotels. You know what I mean? They're paying for everything.
Travel, hotels, food,
all that. Yeah. So where's it going to come from? Not there.
They're PR people. Yeah.
Word, right? Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, man. But I think we're ready, bro.
Yo, we're ready. Let's do this. Let's talk about it, man.
Let's do it.
It's time for your medicine.
What doesn't kill you? The long-term effects of critics and on creatives. Critics on creatives. C on C. What's up with that, baby?
C on C. Well, all right. So I've told this story many, many times about the reason why I stopped drawing Russ, way back in the day, right? I'm telling you, I'm gonna make a book called Gordy and Garish. And they're gonna be two buddies who
I think you already made that book.
Yeah, no, I did. But now it's gonna be like actual characters of these things, and literally they'll be just Gordy and Garish, and they'll just hang out. Because like you mentioned, that's exactly what a critic said about the art which I was doing on Russ way back in the day. Obviously that hit the ego hard to the point where I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna write this book. And but I'm gonna finish it. I'm not gonna stop. It's not gonna deter me, but I'm gonna finish the book. I'm just not gonna draw it because it's gonna take a very long time for me to learn perspective, anatomy, and all that other stuff. Time that I was not willing to put in. And that's a decision I guess you gotta make. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you got to make that decision. You got to decide, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to go ahead and quit completely? Am I going to, prove this person wrong and learn how to draw and do that, which that's awesome if you do. Or am I just going to say, you know what? Let me write this book. Let me be, I created it. I'm the writer. Let me continue. So what are the long-term effects of a critic, bashing your stuff, saying
Trauma,
your stuff
bro.
ain't no good.
Trauma.
And you know what's crazy? I was talking actually to Hades, and sometimes it happens for you too. It starts at home sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
The critics and the critiques and the naysayers and the, well, like you said, you have that story about, your stepdad, I think, saying, so you're just going to copy your entire life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Garish colors. Yeah, man. Salute. What up, Rick? So, Sam had no respect for that artwork, bro.
Yo, dude.
He said, yo, we let her in this? Yeah, it was the night before a show.
It was like midnight.
It was, right? And we knew a guy. Yeah, brother. So let's talk a little bit about what happens, dude. What happens psychologically to creators, especially indie creators, when they get things like this thrown their way.
Yeah, my character was called Generic, so I flipped it and named one Eric Jenner.
Nice. Generic.
Yes. Eric Generic. Jenner. Yeah. So no, I think it all depends. It all depends on the person and how they process it, right? And there are people who are going to be like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, because it could be devastating, right? And because they put so much weight on one person's opinion, and the words we choose can be devastating. It's I'll give you the example. It's like, I shared the story about my mom's boyfriend when he ripped into me. He says, you'll never amount to a real artist because of all you do is copy, right? Mm-hmm. And I had a choice to make, right? I got pissed. I went into my clubhouse that I had in the yard.
How old were you at the time?
Oh, I was
because I think age matters too.
I was in junior high school. Yeah. Junior high school, like 7th grade or whatever. Damn. 7th grade, yeah. For sure. I just started junior high school. I went from 6th grade, from elementary school to junior high.
Yeah.
And I went to my clubhouse in the back, and I was sulking and I was boo-hooing. And then I was like, then it's that kid from Jamaica Queens kicked in, and it's like, you know what? I'll prove him wrong, right? And I was like, all right. And so I flipped the script, and I do remember, like, I couldn't perspective and me just did not get along, and it wasn't until I met Sal Mandela at the School of Visual Arts. Mm-hmm. He had a great way of identifying your shortcomings without making you feel inadequate. Right? He was a teacher. That was his, he worked for the big boys. And so I remember you would draw something, you would sit down with him, he'd take tracing paper over your product, and then he would show you how the perspective should be based on what you illustrated. Right? And he's like, and then he walk you through it. Here's where your vanishing line, whatever. So I felt safe. Right? But the difference is when you go and you do the editors are the same way. They're critics, right? So when you do portfolio reviews at the big cons and you're standing online, what they say to you can make or break you and devastate you.
What was that thing where you were standing online and somebody was getting ripped in front of you? And you're like, I'm going to have to come back.
I was like, deuces. I think my mom's calling me, right? The point, I'm online. I'm with Robert Garrett. It was at the Wizard World. I think it was Chicago. We're online, and I'm like, all right. And we're both nervous, right? Because Robert was pissed because there was nobody to show his manuscripts to, right? And because they weren't taking it, you would have to drop off the manuscript, but they would always tell you need an artist. And so I'm online. I was like, yo, we're gonna suck it up. And so I'm online. I'm watching. This kid goes and he opens up his portfolio, and the editor says, "Is this what you're gonna show me?" And the kid looks at him. He goes, "This is what you're gonna show me. So if you're gonna waste my time, let's do this." And he opened it up and he started. I was like, oh no. And I walked away. I was like, yo, Robert, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not going to be embarrassed by any of you. Those who can't teach. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. But it was traumatic. And dude, I mean, I got slaughtered all the time. I mean, every submission I submitted, I would get rejection letters like "you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck." And I said it, with Top Cow. They sent me Michael Turner's art. They didn't send me a letter,
No
nothing.
critique.
They just
No
sent me his
critique.
art, and I got the message. They said, if it doesn't look like this, don't waste our time. I was like, damn, this game is
Savages,
brutal, right?
savages.
So it can, but I was just too stubborn for my own good, and I just kept fighting through.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's different ways to go about it, but you also got to remember, where is the critique coming from? Who is it coming from? Is it a reputable source, or is it just somebody who's maybe sometimes you'll get a critic who's just envious of what you're doing and just wants to, they're like, you know what? If I say enough bad things to this kid, he'll probably just stop doing it because it's actually not bad, So you got to really think about where it's coming from and act accordingly. I think part of why we continue to do this, Sam, is because we love it. We love it. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what they say to you or whatever. We just love it. And to be honest with you, I didn't love drawing as much as I loved writing. And that's the truth. Because if I loved drawing as much as I loved writing, I would have continued. Nothing would have stopped, just much like you. Nothing would have. I'm a very stubborn person myself. I just didn't. I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. I like writing anyway. So I focused all my energy on writing, the best story I could. And so that's what I did. And I finished it, 6 issues later, I finished it. Because the truth of the matter was, when I was doing it without a script and without anything, by issue number 3, I had no idea where the story was going. I had hit a wall. And there was I had written myself into a wall, and that was it. The story had just hit, rock bottom. So I had to go back and rewrite a lot of the things that I had written. And I'm better for it. I'm better for it.
For me, I always looked at the rejection letters as a badge of honor. I felt like it was part of the process. It was part of going to war, right? You got to take your lumps. You're going to take your hits. And I just felt like it was part of it, right? So, and because I read so many stories about, how Charles Schultz and all the rejection letters and all the people that I looked up to and what they went through. And I was like, oh, who am I to think that, I'm going to have an easy ride, So, for me, it was like, but it forced me to really, really work harder. You know what I'm saying? It's like to prove to myself. And a lot of it has to do with the values I get from my mom. And my mom would tell me, she goes, everyone's going to have an opinion of you, but it's how you see yourself is most important. So for me, it was like, you know what? If I'm creating for me, I love what I do, and I'm going to keep doing it. And I have a responsibility to myself to get better. I didn't take it, for granted. When I got feedback, whether it was, a disrespectful feedback or whatever it is, there's always some truth to what people say, right? So I got to say, all right, let me take a hard look at this. And the best thing I did was take 10 years off, because coming back into the game, it forced me to look at pages differently and, my page design differently, and really, try to catch up and accelerate my journey. But if you put too much stock in, that's why, what is it? Rotten Tomatoes, right? How many times the movie gets smashed on Rotten Tomatoes, but yet it becomes a blockbuster success, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can take a grain of salt with everything. There's some truth to things, self-assess, and then figure out what it is that you got to do to improve from the last time. Every time you touch a page, every time you write, every time you draw, there should be some sort of process, evolution process. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I think, and I'm going to make my point, but before I do, for those watching, there's quite a few of you watching, and we appreciate all of those views. If you have stories about, if you're a creator out there and you have stories about maybe a critic said something to you, put it in the chat. Let us know a little bit about it if you want to share some of your stories. But I'm going back to your Rotten Tomatoes thing. Not only do some of these movies become blockbuster success, some of them don't, but are still really good movies that you don't realize how good they were until you sat down and you rented out the DVD or streamed it online, and you were like, yo, you know what? This movie's not that freaking bad. What the hell were they talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, again, you got to see where the source is coming from. What is the reason for that review? What's behind the review? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you got to make your own decisions. Even if you hear a comic book is bad or that thing is ugly, buy it for yourself. Especially if it's an indie. Support it.
A perfect example was back in the days with Liefeld, bro. Everyone was trashing Rob Liefeld for his art style, right? But I was picking up Youngblood. I was picking up, X-Force. I was, what I'm saying? So I was like, and I was making my own judgment on whether or not I found joy or in reading that material or whatever it is. So I think you got to make it your own.
How was, and I never read Youngblood, to be honest with you. How was the story itself? Because he wrote the stories too, right?
Yeah, it was fun in the beginning, then it got gimmicky, right? So in the beginning, you had a really good quality stuff, and then it just got gimmicky with crossovers and you know, big splashy. You know what I'm saying? Then it started getting diluted. You know what I'm saying? It's like a perfect example. It's like you know, when you go to your favorite restaurant and they're known for this one dish, right? And it's just startup. It's just a startup restaurant, so they're putting a lot of love and everything. But then once they start getting all this traffic and it starts losing that flair that it had, you know, so that because now they have to make more because they're getting more and more people show up. So they're not putting the same level of detail to it. That's what happened with the Youngblood, right? So in the beginning, it was hot because he wanted to put his passion into it. And then as it started blowing up, you know, they started spreading themselves thin. And then the story, in my opinion, just changed.
It also depends on the synergy. I mean, all on X-Men, nope on Hellboy, no one better. And yeah, I mean, it depends on the book, right? Depends on. Sometimes are you writing the right story? Yeah, you know. And listen, for me, you know, I never liked Seinfeld's art. I just didn't like it. But art is subjective, bro. Like that's the other thing. Art is subjective. What some people think is great art, other people may think, man, it's not so good. I think what's gonna cement that story is the actual story, what you're reading, and that's why that's so important, dude. Like art is subjective, and so are stories. I mean, listen, I'm not a big zombie guy, but when I read The Walking Dead, when I read the comic, I didn't watch the show, never watched the show, but when I read the comic, Robert Kirkman's a really good writer, bro. He's a really good writer. He really knows how to like capture you, and get you in there. He did it with Invincible. Same thing. You know, how many superhero stories did we have? And then when you put me onto that, I was like, yo, this is not bad, bro. This is actually really good. So, you know, I think we turn things away too soon, especially when we hear critics talk about how good or how bad it is. And unfortunately, you kind of need them sometimes, you know, in the back of the book just to give you a little clout, you know what I mean? And
there was a time
when they give you a good review, you're like, yeah, this guy's a great reviewer. Right. When they give you a bad review, like he's a jerk.
There was a time, you know, back in, you know, the early days of Crazee Comics, I was just sending free material to critics.
Right.
I just wanted,
because that was the thing, right?
That was the thing, right? I mean, I was like, bum. Now I don't really care, you know. So for me, it's like now I'm just having fun doing what I want to do. I'm not sending anything. If you pick it up and you want to do a critique on it, that's fine. But I'm not intentionally looking to send any of my work to a critic. My critic is the people that actually purchase it and read it. And so I think, you know, there was a point in time where I felt like, especially when you're an indie, and you want to get name recognition, you want to get your word out, you want other forms of press. It's a great resource, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, because be careful, because you just might not get the result you're looking for, and you got to be prepared to deal with that too, right? Not a professional critique, but I've had negative comments on starting my company because people misinterpret indie for cheap. And indie has a bad rap as a whole.
It does. That stigma, right? The books are never going to get finished. They're not quality. You know, they're indies for a reason. You know, all that nonsense. Yeah. And I'll tell you this: indies are stepping up their game big time, bro. Like the indies of today aren't the indies we saw back in the early 2000s, bro.
Right.
Like in the early 2000s, indies were very different. You know, very, very different. The Mocha, look at the Mocha. Mocha's very different. You know, Mocha, you had to stay with comics, you know what I mean? And that's what they wanted. Now you go to a Mocha show and it's like, it's not like that anymore. You have the big schools now, you know, they have the big art schools.
It always starts that way, right? It always starts at where it's, you know, pop culture. You know, it's retro. It's for the taboo stuff, right? The unknowns, the unsung heroes, the new and up and comers, right? The underground stuff. And then as that event grows in popularity, now the big boys want to take over. That's basically how it works, you know, and that's the unfortunate part. You know, that's why for me, you know, it's like, for me, it's important that I find the shows that cater to, like Waco, the show that I did in Waco. That show brought in about 50,000 people, right? But it was so indie friendly, so indie friendly. You know, you got an 8-foot table with a 10-foot booth, right? You have all this space behind you. They put your name on the website. You get no stress going there. You get good communication, you know, and the fans are indie friendly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
but then you look at a fan expo, which is all mainstream focus. Indies don't get the respect. You get a 6-foot table. You're squeezed in with everybody. You barely have enough room to walk around your table. You know what I'm saying? You got like a foot behind you with your back up in your chair, so you're like tight, right? They don't get your name on the website. They don't tell you if you got approved. They take your money immediately, right? And then you don't get the information like a couple weeks before the show. Why would you want to do a show that like that? Because it brings in a bigger crowd. That crowd's there for the celebrities. They're not there for you. Find a indie focused event where you have a greater chance of creating awareness and all that other stuff. What's this? A good constructive bit of criticism can help sharpen your skills. It can make you better overall, but you got to be realistic and willing to take. Yeah, you got to take your lumps. There's always a critic, bro. Anywhere you go, like I said, it's a matter of taste. Same thing. I just did a show on pricing. It's a matter of taste. If someone thinks that your book is worth paying that amount that you priced it at, they're going to pay for it. But it's not everyone's going to do it. It's a matter of whether or not they like it. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't make the critic bigger than they are. That's what happens. We put them on a pedestal, and then you get your heart breaks. Now, if your hero tells you, "Yo, your stuff," you show it to your hero, and he gives you heart, then you got to say, you know what, damn, what I miss.
Well, that's what and I think that's the mistake that a lot of us make. We only listen to the people we want to listen to.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mistake. I think that you can get something from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has to be a professional that tells you, hey, your perspective is off. If a non-professional tells me that, there's something to that. Yeah, I'm not saying a little kid like, yeah, perspective's off. What are you doing with that? Like, I'm talking about like somebody who's actually done it, who's maybe gone to school for it. It's not a professional artist, but they know what perspective is. If that person tells me a perspective's off, I'm not gonna be like, get out of here, man. You don't know what to talk about. And then all of a sudden, Jim Lee tells me a perspective off, and all of a sudden, oh, Jim Lee's right. My perspective's off. When you've been told that for years, didn't listen to it, didn't want to change it because you thought you were good until this person told you. Now it's like, now you got to go and learn it. I think you need.
But that's why I say there's always truth to something.
People.
Yeah, that's why I say there's some truth to whatever everybody's saying. It comes from somewhere. It's got to be something, and you have to self-reflect. The hard part is going back and self-reflecting, right? And going and assessing it. That's why I always say, do something, put it away, come back to it, and look at it with a fresh set of eyes. But that's why I believe one thing I do miss is being around other artists, right? And just learning from how they approach a page layout and design and all that stuff, whatever, because that, it sharpens the knife, it sharpens the blade, right? So you want to be around other people. Same thing with writers, writers club. You want to be able to talk shop and talk, pacing and all this other stuff, because all it does is sharpen you. I miss those things. Right. And, so I think that prepares you for that.
Yeah, no, and that's the reason why I still go to conventions, even if I'm not behind the table. I still go there just for that, for the camaraderie, for the you leave those conventions and you're inspired. You're inspired to continue to create, even if you're not behind the table, because sometimes being behind the table is very daunting, bro. Like at the end of the day, it's an 8-hour day, 3 days.
Exhausting.
It's exhausting, bro, mentally, emotionally. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes that also but I love doing that too, because you feel you're fulfilled, whether you sold 1 book, 2 books, 15 books, 100 books. You come back and you're like, all right, somebody wants my stuff, especially if you get some good feedback from it. And going back to Aniba's comment about constructive criticism, that's what it's got to be, though. It's got to be constructive. It can't just be, you suck. It's got to be, hey, man, that doesn't look good, but I'm going to tell you why. What you're doing is you're going here. You're doing that.
Yes.
That's wrong. When you get that, that's different. Now I can work with this. Okay, you showed me where the mistake was. Now I can change that.
Yeah.
What is Rick saying?
He's saying judgment can be paralyzing. Sometimes we're just better off just executing and committing to the infinite goal of improvement. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm a student, true and true. I love learning. I watch a lot of artists drawing on YouTube. I love at conventions. I love when I'm next to artists at conventions, and because you can see them when they're drawing something. I'm always peeking over to see how they approach the layout, right? It's like that fascinates me, bro. It's like, I was like, oh man, I didn't think of approaching it from that aspect or whatever it is.
Now wait, does it have to be a professional artist or any artist?
No, I'm an artist, Ali. Most of them are independents. And they usually put the professional and artist in a separate section, and then they put us.
But do you compare? In other words, all right. So do you sit there with an eye of I'm trying to learn from this guy, or I'm better than this dude? Like how do you look?
It's always about how. It's always like learning. It's always about how are they approaching the page.
So can you learn from somebody who has less skill than you? Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. You can learn from everybody.
Okay.
You can learn from a kid, bro. I was watching a kid. I was at a park, and this kid, he drew something. He drew Snoopy. And, you know, for me, Snoopy was always difficult. I don't know why. I could never get the look down. And I watched this kid draw Snoopy. I was like, oh, that's how he approached it. Look at that shit. Right?
Nice.
So for me, it's like you can learn from it. You just got to be open. You got to be willing. You know what I'm saying? I was like everybody, that kid reminded me of that kid at the beach where he says, Mister, that's not how you swim. Right? And when I got beat up by a wave, and the kid was like a 5-year-old yelling at me. And I was like, because I got beat up on the water. But I think you got to be willing to learn. I've always been a student in everything. I studied the game. I'm always trying to figure, whether it's comics, whether it's podcasting, whether it's writing, whatever it is, I'm always trying to learn from others. And you know, and when I go to conventions, walking the floor and checking out you know, what other people are doing and how they're doing it and how they're approaching it, and listening to their conversations and their pitches, you know what I mean? It helps you fine-tune your approach.
You got to be a sponge, man. You got to be a sponge. You really do. And I think you have to be willing to learn from everyone, right? Not just the professionals, not just people who have done it, like everybody, and know what you're taking from everybody, I think. Because at the end of the day, when somebody tells you your stuff sucks, you know, you got to be able to say, okay, let me look back. Let me think, okay, why is this person saying that? Is he just being a jerk, or what can I do better? The fact that y'all got a body of work to analyze and critique is a victory in itself. Thanks, man. That's a good point, man. That's a good point. I actually wanted to ask, I don't know if Paul still, when it wasn't a professional critique, when they gave you negative comments on starting your own company, like what was your reaction? How did you react? Or how do you combat that, right? Like if somebody's just telling you, hey man, you're never gonna do that, do you like, I'll show you? Or is it more of like, yeah, whatever, man, and you just keep it moving? You know what I mean? Like, do you waste energy? You know, come back.
No, I don't think you never want to go back and forth, especially if the person is just giving you a statement.
I don't have time for that.
I don't have time for that. If they're just making a statement and they're not giving you context, don't bother going back and forth and trying to justify anything. Just keep it moving. But you know, one of the things today I was in a meeting, right? And one of the executives, during our break, he went to the whiteboard and he started drawing Garfield. I stopped what I was doing. I was in the middle of an email. I looked up. I was like, huh, I didn't know he can draw. But I was fascinated. I was like, oh, snaps, right? So anything creative, I'm like, boom, I'll stop. I'm like, oh, let me see what's going on here.
Right.
What is it? I think as creators, we are all sensitive to a degree, and it's difficult to hear criticism, even if it's not harsh, but it comes with the territory. It does stay with you. It does stay with you. I mean, come on. I mean, I talk about it. Well, I saved every rejection letter I've ever received, bro. I got a file cabinet that's like this thick, and I'm like, damn, right? Hey, and but because it always bothered me, but it also acts as fuel for me. So on one hand, it's like, damn, but on the other hand, it's like, all right, I'm gonna keep pushing, right? So it's like you got to be able to just like put on your big boy, you know, jacket and just keep walking, you know. And
I think with age, bro, like that stuff rolls off your back easier than when you're younger. I think because with age, I mean, obviously, I laugh at that stuff now. Hey, yo, I laugh at that stuff now. You know what I mean? Like that guy said that. You know, it's funny. Back then, it wasn't so funny. And even if I get like a critique now, yeah, of course, you think about it, you're like, damn, they didn't like that. Okay, but does it stay with me? I guess it does. You know, like we're human, right? But do I dwell on it? Nah. I mean,
it stays with you. I think it stays with you. What's that? I calmly thought, go forth and multiply yourself and use their doubt as fuel. Now we're 3 years old and doing well. There you go. There you go. You know, it's the same thing. I look at it this way, like, you know, like that, you know, when you're young, that in elementary school, you know, the girl you had a crush on and that turned you down. Same thing in high school, whatever. You remember those things, right? It stays with you, right? So there are moments, I don't know about you guys, there are moments where you start reflecting in your life and you start looking and you start remembering things you forgot about, right? It stays with you in the back of your mind, right? But it doesn't mean you stop. It didn't mean I stopped dating because I got my heart broken. I kept dating. It didn't mean I stopped drawing because someone said my stuff was ugly. I kept drawing. You just use that.
I block that out, bro. Like I think I try to block out all the negative stuff that's happened to me in my life. Maybe that's not good. I mean, I need to go see some therapy, but I block it out, bro. Like if you ask me, yo, do you remember that girl? No, I don't. I don't remember that girl.
Oh well, that's because you were the dreamer, bro.
No.
Yeah,
I focus on the positive.
You have a legacy, bro.
No, I don't have a legacy. I do not have a legacy. Dude, he's not ugly, man.
There's a lot of broken hearts around the world.
No,
yes. I know you.
Let's not lie to the people. I just think that you can either, like you said, yes, we are sensitive. Of course, as a creator, you don't want, these are your babies. You don't want people saying, "Hey, that sucked." Of course, but I think that Aniba said it stays with you for a little bit. I don't think that 5 years from now I'll still remember that. I remember this because it was my first. You remember your first. That you remember. You remember your first. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
So you remember your first. But as far as like,
it's like
remember what? Nah,
it was like at San Diego Comic-Con, right? Where a dad was walking with his kids past my table, and he looked at the alien coming out the toilet. He screams real loud, "You should be ashamed of yourself!" And I was like, whoa, right? And then I took a look and said, what did I do? I said, it's just an alien coming out of a toilet. But he was pissed, right? It didn't stop me from what I was doing. I was like, I'm just gonna keep it pushing. Right. But you know what I'm saying? But it stood with me because it was traumatic. It scared the crap out of me. I was like, it reminded me of like The Exorcist, repent. And I was like, oh no.
Holy water, Chad. What are you doing with that? What was it? It was just because the alien was coming out of the toilet?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I was like, dude, man, made a scene. I was like, yo, you crazy, bro.
You gotta see that dude at Alien Con. He's gonna be out there, bro. He's one of those.
But there are those moments that stick with you that
there are moments. Yeah.
He was basically criticizing my work, right? And no context, no nothing other than he yelled at me, pointed at me with this aggressive look. I was expecting security to come and he said, "Shut this man down," right? I didn't know what was going on. But it didn't stop me. I didn't like pack up and say, "Oh man," I just kept it going, And but you're gonna have those moments where people just don't like what you do at all, don't like what you represent. It's like you just gotta do what you feel is right for you, And I love to draw. I love to create. I love to create stories. I just love the art form of being creative, right? And so I'm gonna keep doing what I love to do. With I have an audience or I don't, which, again, don't put too much stock in it, but remember there's a little truth to everything and be able to self-reflect, but don't take it personal. Don't stop your journey because, how many people think about it? You talk about the 1%ers, right? So when you think about the world, how many people stop because they got bad feedback? They say you'll never amount to nothing, and they just stay working for the rest of their lives. You'll never amount to, or you don't have talent, or you don't have this, right? And they stop, right? And they never really fulfilled their dream or their purpose because they put so much weight in what another person's opinion was, and they never realized the true potential, right? So it's like the ones who keep fighting through, it's not an easy journey. It's going to be a tough journey. I don't know anybody who's been successful that didn't have a rough go at it, right? And overcome adversity and had to go through all this stuff and failures and learnings and all that stuff. It's part of the process.
You say that, and then I think about the artist, and I think obviously Todd famously, was just rejected a lot. Was Jim rejected? I mean, Jim Lee was going to be a doctor, bro. He said, "I'm gonna stop being. I'm not going to go to." I'm gonna go draw because I'm nasty. Did he have
Michael Turner? Michael Turner.
Yeah,
was ripped apart for his art style, but what happened was Mark Silvestri saw something in him and he started mentoring him.
That guy was
right. And he kept giving him challenges. And then next thing you know, he became, from the student, he became the freaking Jedi master. And then anything he touched was golden. Right. So, but someone saw something in him, even though he was getting feedback on his art style that wasn't there. He didn't know how to draw buildings or whatever. And so, but he worked on his craft and then he became the number one sought out artist of his time, And so it all depends on what if you believe in yourself. And sometimes people need somebody to believe in them in order to keep pushing.
Well,
You know?
that's the balance, right? You got to
Yeah.
find somebody who actually is going to do, whether it's even if he does if they do critique you, it's constructive. It's something that's going to keep you
Yeah.
moving forward. Sometimes you just need that fan that's on your side, no matter what you do. You're like, yeah, you can do it. And it's like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah,
And
Rocky, needed, his coach, the Karate Kid needed Mr. Miyagi, so it's
right,
like everybody needs somebody. Mike Tyson needed his coach, it's like to see something in him. So I think sometimes you need that. I always say to myself, if I had that mentor when I was a kid, where would I be now? It's like, we learned the hard way. We're self-taught, and imagine if we had guidance, right?
right, right.
So
Somebody
that's
tell you that's the school we need to put you in. We need to do that. We
yes.
need to do this. Here are some markers. The nice one, the nice kinds, not the Sharpies. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Word draw.
So
Yeah,
there's a
no,
lot of things that contribute to it.
yeah, absolutely. But I think that also makes you who you are as far as resiliency, right? Because
Yeah.
it's never been as easy. You always know that it's gonna be hard, so you kind of have to power through.
Yeah.
And I think the passion and the love for it is what's gonna keep you going.
Yeah.
If that's not there, you're gonna stop.
Yeah.
And for the most part, a lot of guys, and we know a lot of creators who've been doing this for a long time, and have they signed big deals with with streaming services? No, but they're still doing it. Why? Because
Yeah.
they love this thing. They love
Yeah.
it, and there's still that hope that one day you'll be able to do it. What up, Mike? You know what I mean? So yeah, I just think when a critic tells you something like that, take it for what it is and say, all right, like what's his name? Go ahead and multiply yourself, and I'm gonna keep doing what I got to do. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep doing what I got to do. That's
Yeah.
it.
If you're not getting critiqued, then you're not doing anything.
Right.
Right. The good thing is somebody noticed you enough to put the energy and to
Mhm.
give feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a win, bro.
Yeah,
That's a win. That's why I always say bad publicity is good publicity. Use it to your advantage. And don't you're not always going to get 4 stars, right? Not everything does. But I mean, look at it. I mean, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. You hate it, right? It's a matter of taste,
Yeah.
right? And so it only takes
One
one
yes.
yes. That's it. It only takes one yes. So you're saying it's possible,
You
right?
cling to that yes, bro. You cling to that yes. You're like,
Yes.
yes, they said it was good. I'm gonna keep doing it. And I
Yeah.
think that's a personality thing. Also, don't get me wrong. Listen, man, the imposter syndrome kicks in too when
It
you
does.
find success. When you find success, I think that's when all the negative stuff you've heard kind of creeps into your head. Like, what are they seeing? Maybe I'm not that good. How am I gonna top the last thing I did and make it better? Maybe that was my driving Miss Daisy. Maybe that was my the best thing I've ever put out. Am I gonna be able to put something out that good again? And you got to battle that. I mean, there's so many things, dude, that you got to battle
It
through.
is. It's
Especially
tough,
when you're an indie.
I remember there was one, and I think it was because he picked up the book, and I got an email from Andy Schmidt. He was a writer, editor. I think it was Marvel or DC, and he sent me. He says Samuel's done what most independents struggle doing. Told a good story. My son absolutely loves Duty. Right?
Mhm.
I was like, oh, right. That was like
Interesting.
holy. I was like, holla. That was for me gold, bro.
Yeah,
I promoted the hell out of that thing everywhere I went.
yeah.
Right. And while Duty got a lot of great reviews, there were some that weren't buying into Duty. Right.
Mhm.
So it's like, so you gotta take it for a grain of salt. Right. So for me, it's like, as long as you keep working, as long as you keep learning, as long as you keep growing, don't worry about the noise. There's always going to be noise. I mean, no one's ever going to agree. You
Yeah.
can put 12 people in a room and have them watch the same movie. You're going to get 12 different opinions.
Yeah. Recently, even with Russ, right? So recently, I had maybe last year, maybe a couple of years ago, I had sent out the book for a podcast that I was going to be on, and I didn't know they were going to review it, which is cool. So they reviewed it, and remember, here I was struggling for years. I'm not going to draw it. I'm going to hire somebody to draw it. These podcasters read the book and they give it their critique, right? And the critique was that they didn't like the art. They still didn't, because it wasn't a style that they liked. It wasn't that it was bad art. It was just a style that they didn't like. But they enjoyed the story. And the only reason why they kept reading the book was because the story was good.
Yeah.
That for me was all I needed to hear. At that point, it's like, all right, the artwork wasn't just what they liked, but the story was good.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. I think as creators, you're an artist. I know you're an artist, but you're also a storyteller and you're a writer. So if somebody gives you props for a great story, that means so much, I'm sure,
Mhm.
because that means that person is going to go ahead and pick up the next book you do. And that's what we want. We want people to keep reading our stories.
Yes.
Yeah, artwork is nice and it's good to look at it, but you want those people to keep reading your stories. I had negative and positive conversations on my stuff on the same day this week at the con. One person wasn't feeling it at all. The other said it inspired him.
That's it.
It's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
It's just this constantly that, dude. Like it's crazy. It's people who open up your book and close it and walk away. It's people who sit there and just look at every single thing on the page, and they're like,
I had a publisher that said, and there was an editor from the publisher said, I submitted it to them, right? And says, it's not for our publication, but my kids absolutely love it.
It's not. Right? Say it again.
It's not for our publication, but my kids absolutely love it.
Wow.
I was like, yo, it was like I got both hit and kissed at the same time. I was like, you son of a. It's like a girl comes over you and says, kiss me, you kiss her, and she slaps you. It's like, yo, what the hell was that about?
Oh my God, that is crazy.
It's crazy.
Lorraine, George, heresy. Yes, indeed. Wow, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So what they published not kid stuff? Is that what it was? They published like maybe just more adult content and stuff, and that's why
they were looking for more stuff, more like art styles like Calvin and Hobbes, that kind of stuff. They weren't digging my, at least this person wasn't, but
right. But his kids loved it.
His kids loved it, which is just, it's like, but that's what that's the reality of the game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's I mean, look at J.K. Rowling. How many times she got passed up, and they said, the story sucks and it's not for them and whatever. And then one person just said, boom, and it became $1 billion franchise.
That one, yes.
Yes, yeah. One, yes. So it's like you're not going to please everybody. You just got to keep. The moral of the story is keep trying.
Yeah, keep going.
No matter how many times you get knocked down, keep trying. Sylvester Stallone said it best in Rocky, bro. It's not how many times you get hit, is what how many times you get up after you get hit.
It's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Yes, and it's like that's the reality of life. And expect the lumps, expect the hits, expect people not to dig what you do, expect people not to like your podcast, expect people to not like you. That's just the reality of the game.
Bro, you gotta build that tough skin. If you don't have tough skin in this game, you're gonna get eaten alive, and you're gonna die quick. It's about that tough skin. It's about saying, "Hey, I don't care." Care.
And it rubs people the wrong way too, because you can be like, look, sticks and stones, and keep it moving. Like, oh, that boy, he's arrogant or whatever. That comes with the game too. It isn't that, bro. I just don't. I'm not gonna feed into it. I appreciate the fact that you took the time. Thank you. On to the next. And I think that's where it's you're going to get one shot at this on this planet, and if you love what you do, don't give it up because someone told you something.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's just words. They're just words.
Somebody said it was garish and gaudy.
they call them double G.
They were like, yo, this is that double G, son.
You know what's sad? I believe 100%. If you would have honed your craft, I love the way you illustrated Russ. I just love the way you captured that look. I really enjoyed it. I like it better than what the guys are doing.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
I probably should have been like, keep it more to this. This is
because you had a style that was like very street graffiti-ish, almost slightly manga. It was like it was unique to you. It was your flavor. So if you would have honed your craft, they would have been like, that's a Medina right there, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Because there was nobody that looked like what you were doing.
Yeah. No, and that's some people say, I remember we had somebody who said they don't believe in style, but I think that people have a style. Like I think I do believe that when you draw a piece or when Anibal draws a piece, you can tell, who it is. Gritty. Gilbert, give a shout out to Gil. Gil was one of the first ones to buy our stuff, bro. Like he was OG number one. So thank you, Gil, for believing in the cause. Yeah. But yeah, dude, like, and I was gonna say about those words. when they hit me with that stuff, bro, I had to go look them up. I was like, what does this mean?
I remember you really took it to heart. I remember that time. I remember how many times I was telling you. I said, who cares, bro? I used to say to you all the time, I said, who cares? Keep doing it. You know, you took it to heart. And you know, but again, it's like it was hey Sam, I'm always telling George to pick up the best. I know.
He is. He does tell me that.
Stubborn.
Yeah. Stubborn. No, I will not. Yeah, you know, I mean, listen, it's one of those things where it's, you know, there's a lot to learn when it comes.
Dude, I criticized myself when I was trying to draw for bid, and I was like, yo, I suck, right? So I was like, yo, this is too much work.
But that's a whole different style, though.
Right,
right. That's because your style of art didn't fit that book.
Right. And I was like, I just couldn't do it. And I was like, yo, I said, no, I can't do this to myself, Sam. And I'm trashing myself. I don't need the critics. I was like, yo, you suck. Don't do that anymore. Right.
Stop drawing that.
That's another thing. Awareness. Know your strengths.
Self-awareness,
right?
Bro.
Self-awareness. Know your strengths.
Big.
You know, it's
big time. He said, yo, Sam, stop drawing. Put it down.
I got an argument with myself. I was like, yo, why you gotta be so rude? I'm just telling you, man.
Why you gotta be so rude, dog? You so mean. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling this for your own good.
Yeah, man. I couldn't draw hair like Anibal could, bro. He's like Vidal Sassoon.
There are different styles. You know, like you can tell when that step away from the artboard. Get out of there, fool.
Get out of there.
Oh man. Yeah,
I tried.
That self-awareness is big, bro. You gotta have it.
It is. You know, that's the biggest thing. It's like put the pencil down. Yeah, man. I was like, yo, I had myself in a headlock. I was like, don't do it. Don't do
it. Go with me. But yeah, dude. I mean, listen, like you said, moral of the story, don't quit because somebody, you know, had a bad day and decided to give you a bad review. You know what I mean? Like, don't do it. Don't do it. But at the same time, don't put all your eggs on that positive basket. They tell you it's great. Don't put all your eggs on that one either. You know what I mean? That you can still improve. No. You can still improve. That doesn't mean you're great just because somebody says, yo, man, this is the best. No. You can keep. We are making issue zero. No more issue zeros.
No more issue zeros. Yo, issue zero was the thing back in the day, bro.
It was. It was the Image thing. Image had a bunch of issue zeros, bro.
Yeah. But Beauty didn't have an issue zero, so I'm just saying.
That's true. But to that point, I mean, listen, just don't put your eggs on any basket. Even if somebody gives you a positive review, you can always get better. If somebody gives you a bad review, get better. You know what I'm saying? Like you can always improve. You can always improve, man. Don't think that you're the greatest thing since sliced bread because somebody said you.
I got reviews for everything I've created, right? And all of them are mixed, right? And so you take it and you learn from it. And I think that's the biggest thing is like again, I said in the beginning, I'll say it again. There's some truth to everything. It's what you take with it, and what do you use, how you use it to propel yourself forward, right? And that's the biggest thing. Never giving up, keep pushing forward. You know, there's always going to be somebody that has something to say. I had a teacher to tell me that I'm a long way for being an artist, but then I had another teacher who every morning before class started let me draw on the chalkboard, right, and encourage me, right. So two different approaches. One's right is not encouraging, the other one's encouraging. So it's like you know, you just gotta react to. Hang on to your huevos rancheros.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But same school, same grade, two different teachers, two different approaches.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to make a choice, and I just kept drawing.
Yeah, that's it, man.
I've been drawing those big heads and little feet, and didn't know how to, and they were all stiff. Walking
like robots. Know what's funny though? If you look at, like, I follow Jim Lee. Talking about Jim Lee, you said little feedback. If you look at some of the stuff he was drawing when he was a teenager, it was terrible. Like, his artwork was terrible. The guy's nasty now, but back then he was not. He was not. You would not think, oh man, this kid's gonna be somebody at 16. You know what I mean? Like, he just didn't have it back then.
Yeah. But, I mean, I had my boys. When I was in high school, used to rip me on my art style. He's like, there goes Sam drawing those big heads again, right? And it's like,
I'll show you big head.
I was like, you're bastard, right? And so I was like, but there was always somebody better than me, and that inspired me, there was always somebody who was at an advanced stage. I'm like, yo, how do you get there?
Mm.
Right. And, and so for me, it was always trying to, catch up to that person. I was always chasing that person,
Yeah.
and so for me now I'm just chasing me, trying to be better than I was yesterday. And so, when I was a brokepreneur, I would find something that I was uncomfortable drawing, and I spent a week drawing it from different positions and angles so I can master it. And so, because I had the time to do it, right? So I was like, all right,
bro. Yeah,
yeah,
time is so big, dude.
I always had a difficult time drawing bicycles, right? And so, and getting the right angles. And so I said, I'm going to spend a week just drawing the bicycle from different angles, above, down, sideways, to try to make sure I get it right. And so now when I have to draw it from memory, the muscle memory is there. And I didn't have to use a reference. And that's what my goal was, to try to create a database in my mind so I don't have to always use a reference. But there's nothing wrong with using references, but it was just me trying to challenge myself to get better.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Is it?
Rob Liefeld should have taken your advice. What up, Mark?
What's up, Mark? In the funky bunch.
Yeah, man. I know Liefeld gets a bad rap. I like I said, I didn't like his artwork either. I just thought
I still like his art. Sometimes I get annoyed by some of the things he draws.
Like, what is it? Like, you know what it is? He's very dynamic poses.
Yeah.
It's the dynamic poses that get you.
And it's the way he uses the line work. It's not really hatching or cross hatching. It's like the way he uses those lines. But I mean, that he doesn't draw feet well, and
background,
the feet looks like an arrow. Every time he shows the feet looks like an arrow. And but and he's a splash page guy, right? He hates backgrounds. That. His guns, they don't look like today's guns. They all like some sort of futuristic guns. So he always makes up his own guns because he doesn't draw what guns look like today. So you know that. So I'm like, because I've grown to accept it. I was like, so I was like, all right, I'll take it. I know that this is the things you don't like to do, but I'm gonna support you anyway because I still find it appealing.
And now look how big Deadpool is, right? Like, I get that. Is he getting anything for that?
He gets residuals. He's always getting free stuff. He goes to all the screenings. He gets free stuff all the time. So he must be getting some sort of residuals.
Oh, yeah. Feet,
wrist, elbows.
A million always got. Damn, the list goes on.
Damn.
Rob, you want to come on the show and defend yourself, sir? Come on now to catch the craze.
I still think Youngblood, if he would have done it right, would have rivaled X-Men. If he would have done it right, it would have been the hottest thing today.
What did he say? He's go creative.
He gets ducats because every time you look, he's always getting free statues and all that stuff. He's always at the premieres. He's always at the screenings.
But I'm wondering if they're giving him that instead of actual money. They're like,
I think he's getting paid.
I was like, because that would suck. Yeah, well, you get to come to the movie. Thanks. Like, that's like a $10 ticket. Well, 15, maybe 20 something nowadays.
So yeah, he gets to walk the carpet with the celebrities and all that other stuff, and he goes through all that stuff. Yeah. But you guys, I watch him on Facebook all the time. But again, you know what you're gonna get. It's like I love watching Rob Tom McFarlane draw live, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every time he goes on,
that dude, man.
That guy is so talented. He will start with a part of the body. You don't know where he's going. And next you know, he gets this beautiful piece. I'm like, dude.
But you know what I like about him too is that he's accepted the digital. Like he's nasty with that.
He doesn't even do the pencil part. He goes straight to inks.
Yo, he's like he's nasty with that.
Yes.
I'm like, I'll give you credit, bro. You mastered that thing. Like you're like pencil and pen for what? I got this Cintiq or whatever the hell he's using. iPads. He's using like iPads, bro. He's not even using like the expensive stuff. He's legit cranking stuff out, dude. I'm like, this guy right here, bro.
Yeah. That's talent, bro. And it's confidence. You gotta. He's not afraid of it. I think some people are afraid of digital. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like what Todd not only has artist talent, but also good. Yeah, I mean the guy is the man. I mean he is
Todd's father.
Yeah, I mean he took a play from Stan Lee, and he created his own game in his own lane.
Yeah, but you know what it was? I think he stepped away from comics. It wasn't just comics for him. It was like
he was an empire.
Pillars. He had his pillars, right? Comics, movies, cartoons, toys. Like he knew what he wanted to do. He knew that comics weren't going to make him all the money. He knew he had to expand, and so he did. And I think a lot of us have a hard time because we love comics so much, comics, that we don't want to do anything else but comics. And to him, it was like, yeah, I love comics too, but I got to go make some toys. You know, I got to go get some cartoons made. I got to do, I got to do this. I got to go buy a baseball. That's
it's not just him,
millions
but
of
if you want,
dollars just for publicity.
Yeah, it's like next year I'm investing in my own press for my garage. I'm going to do my own screen printing for my shirts,
Right.
instead of using a third party. And so I'm going to be doing that next year. I'm investing in my own printers to do my own stickers, everything from home. So I'm not paying somebody else, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, if I want to take it to that next level, and it's really about branding my product and controlling the destiny. And a lot of it is, inspiration you take from guys like McFarlane, who created their own lane.
Yeah, man. Those guys, merchandising. Yeah. He did all that stuff. But yeah, everybody. So what doesn't kill you make you stronger at the end of the day. And
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Okay, easy. Take it easy, bro. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So a bad critique on your book is not going to kill you. It's not going to kill you, dude.
Nah.
So just, take it with a grain of salt, keep working, you know what I mean? And do your thing. And then at the end of the day,
here's something. I got a review from one person for one of the books back in the days, and it was both positive and negative, and I omitted the negative and I just used a positive quote.
Yeah, that's what you do, bro. That's what you do. What do you think? I mean, but that's what everybody does, right? If you think about movies, like they don't freaking put the negative stuff they put in there. They're like, this book, this movie was fantastic, but we're gonna we're gonna ignore the but, and we're just gonna go with this movie was fantastic.
That's it.
That's all I need to hear. Yeah. The New York Post. You know what I mean?
That's it. Let's keep it popping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yes, indeed, sir. Do we have a guest next week, or are we going to be talking shop again?
Do we have a guest? Let's see that humble.
So because this
I think
we
do
not have a guest, we decided to just.
We did have a guest. They canceled last minute. They canceled yesterday.
Oh,
bad
guest.
Yeah, it's indies. They get a bad rep. That's why.
What happened to these damn indies? Jesus.
No, we don't. So we'll just be back. We'll come up with another topic, and we'll be back with that topic. We don't have another guest till the 1st, which will be Stephen Russell and Joseph Miles Pittman. And they are former U.S. Army infantrymen, veterans of the Iraq War, current artist Joseph Miles Pittman, letterer at Global Comics. So it's cool. It's Tales of Nihilism is the name of the comic. So they will be on the show. We have 2 guests on that night, so that's going to be fun. What is it? What do you say? Just saw
what doesn't kill you. Head up.
Yeah. So next week we'll come back with another topic. If you guys want a topic that you want us to cover next week, put it in the comments today. If you haven't done so already, give us a thumbs up. Those algorithms help us. And remember, whenever you subscribe to Catch the Craze, you're helping bring more eyes to the indie community, because when we grow the indie, our talent grows. It's more exposure for our guests. So it was a fun night. Thank you everybody who came on tonight to join us for this conversation. I'll be your guest next week.
Listen. So the other thing is to do too. Share.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Share this video. Share the video out. Out. Thanks, Andy.
Yes.
Share it out to your buddies. People who are in the industry who you think you'll enjoy this. Just share it.
Yeah, retweet it, post it, let the world know where the boys were talking about. It's fun night. I love doing this. I think I always have fun when we have topics and we just chill with all of you out there. So thank you all for setting some time aside to join us tonight. We appreciate you.
Word. And don't stop creating. Don't stop creating, because
don't stop creating, man.
F that.
Screw that,
That's
man.
Just one person's opinion. So my brother. Hey, listen, don't forget, Sammy's going to be all over the place in the next couple of weeks, right?
If you're in Texas, join me at the Denton Comic Art Exposition, August 5th at the Denton Civic Center, and then August 12th, I'll be at Collected Comics doing a book signing for their new store. It's a brand new store opening, so that's going to be dope. What's this? Like Fuego. And don't forget, the art contest is going. So if you haven't done so already, show us your duty skills. Lots of the chance to win $100 plus a month of free promotion and a one-on-one interview for an hour, plus featured in the book and so much more. And deadline is the 1st. And George will be at a book signing.
Yes, I will be signing Designated with Mark Torres, who's in the chat, and we're going to be there with Jenny Feldy and Russ Braun, who did that cover that you're seeing right there. Wednesday, July 19th. We're going to be at the store signing. Also, if you go to my website, pick up your copy, your digital copy of Russ 5377 issue number 1 right now. $199. Let's go get them. Let's go get them. Go to my website. Get your
And for all you Kickstarter backers, check your emails. Digital files have been sent, and physical books are going out this week. So look in the mailbox as they'll be coming. And don't forget to sign up for book number 6, which launches October 2nd. This year, and this one's going to be fuego. Introduce a lot of new characters. It's going to be so much fun. So with that said, we appreciate every single one of you. I am Sam the Crazy Man Vera,
George the Dreamer Medina,
and we are out.
It's just easy. It's not. Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
How you describe me? He said, I'm the
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze. Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.